Hi guys, and welcome back to the Stoop Tea. So my name is Rosaini.
And I am Liz Santana. Welcome back, guys. Today is Sunday morning. We're not recording at Sunday night the way we usually do.
I know, I feel like I have so much energy right now because it is the morning time. And I think I've noticed
Yes.
that about myself lately. I am definitely a morning person. I've realized that now at this age, like when I try to do things at night or be proactive during the nighttime or when the sun goes down, it doesn't work for me. Like my body's just like fighting against me the whole time. So here we are with lots of energy on a Sunday morning doing a podcast.
You guys already know I've been working out. And that's where my energy is coming from. The other day, I was coming home from the gym and I heard a lady through her window because she had her window open. And she was fighting with her partner, apparently. And she was asking him like crazy, not crazy questions, but like, questions a jealous woman would definitely ask. She was like, "Oh, where were you? Why'd you take so long?" And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, "Oh, girl, you toxic."
That's one thing about these New York apartments. Like everything, you can hear everything,
Yeah,
like
you
all
can.
the drama.
Yeah, you
So,
can.
but I can imagine you as the third party, you're looking at this or hearing this, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like you're making all these scenarios in your head, probably.
So I'm walking home and I started thinking about like, yeah, damn, she sounds toxic as hell. But then I was thinking like, what happened to her prior to for her to get there? What did she go through? Because it's easy to be like, "Ooh, you toxic, get out of here." But and I feel like that's kind of like the way people look at it now, rather than to like think about, well, what happened to her? Why is she acting like that? So I put myself in her shoes because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I've definitely sounded like that before. Like, I definitely sounded like that before. I can imagine if I'm thinking this and I'm outside the window, I can imagine like people hearing me, but what they're thinking. I don't know. Like, have you ever seen a woman like doing a scene, or like, have you ever seen that in person, like up close in person?
Yeah, there's been times where you hear people on the phone. Like I know it's happened at the gym or at a restaurant or something where you hear someone yelling at someone else on the phone about something that happened.
What comes to your mind though? Like, I want to know what comes to your mind because am I the only crazy one?
What comes to my mind is like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. Like, I think the first thing I think of is you're crazy. And the second one is like, why are you having this conversation right here, right now? So,
Yeah, yeah, true, true
but
facts. Okay.
I do say that I know there has to have been a point in our lives where we have been there or we have been that woman that's been.
Well, I don't know. I think Rose is like the perfect girlfriend. I think Rose is the perfect. Rose is perfect in every way. So I don't know if Rosa really knows what it's like to get crazy.
I've gotten crazy. I think when I had when me and my ex broke up, I think that was one of my crazy moments. You break shit in the house or you're just so
Give me a scene. Is it too
angry.
much to ask you for a scene? Because I mean, I need to visualize you being crazy because I've never seen
Like you take the curtains down or like you just throw your
it.
you throw your shit in the closet, like you like even photo frames, you just like flip them over, like you don't want to see certain things. You're not in the right mental space. You could be the most calming person out there, but there has to
Right.
be a moment in your life where you lost it or you just went crazy. And a lot of times it has to do with something. There's something that triggered that emotion because
Yes.
it's
Yes.
not like it
Triggers.
just happened that you want to be
No,
crazy and
there's
you start
buildup.
yelling or
There's
something.
buildup.
Yes, there's
Right.
obviously like emotional trauma or emotional things that led to that moment of you
Right.
screaming at your partner or breaking stuff.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. Like, there's so much stuff that leads to those things.
Yeah.
It's sad that the first thing when you see that in person or in the street or you hear it or whatever, like, it's sad that the first thing that comes to your mind is like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" You know what I mean? But it's relatable. Like, why are we looking at that person all crazy when you can definitely see yourself in a space like that? Maybe not outside, maybe not in public or whatever, but you can see yourself in that space.
Yeah.
You've been through something like that. So that's what was crazy to me when I was walking thinking about it. But like, why was the first thought that came to me was like, "Oh, girl, you crazy," like, "Oh, you toxic," or whatever. Like, why is that the first thought that comes to my mind when I hear that?
Like it's easy to look at someone's life from a third party perspective and
Right.
point out all the flaws or point out how, oh, I would do this different. We live in a time where people are so quick to pass judgment and point the finger and be mad and yell and whatever and cancel somebody.
Yes.
But we don't take the time to be empathetic towards the person and their feelings and what they've been through and why they're acting the way they do.
Yeah, this is crazy because this is a generation that most promotes understanding and
I still think that a lot of people are very one-sided. I know
yes,
that
I
people are
agree.
so easy, like, oh, we have to be inclusive, we have to love, peace, not war. But a lot of people, they can say all they want, but they're not acting upon what they're preaching. And
Right.
there's a lot of that going on right now. If you want someone to be respectful of the way you live your life, then you better be respectful. You better be respectful of how people live their lives too. You can't
Right,
pass
right,
judgment.
right.
Again, it's so easy to just pass on judgment, but it's really important to,
Understand that person or understand what that person is going through. Like, or maybe you don't understand them because you've never been there, but try to understand the point of view, their point of view.
yeah,
You know what I
obviously,
mean? Like,
obviously something bad happened for someone to react that way, you know?
right, right. Because I don't feel like people just react like that off of instant. No, something happened to her. Like something really did happen to her. And you know, it was like she was like, "Oh, where were you? Why you took so long? Oh, you never take that long." She was like, "Oh, your habits are changing, blah blah blah." And I'm just like thinking to myself, and I'm like, "Yo, that's like she's definitely scorned, and she's a jealous woman." Like, but I feel like jealous women are scorned. Like you know, they once were trusting women, and then they're just now they're not. You know what I mean? And it's habits, like, and I realize like I have some of those habits. I have like jealousy moments when I'm just like, "Where were you? Why you took so long?"
We're like the ultimate detectives. Like we'll date
Yeah,
somebody,
we
but
are.
we'll know already like most about your life before you even tell us.
Hell
Cause
yeah.
we'll look it up on social media.
Oh, yeah.
We'll stalk you guys until we figure out,
We won't say it, but we'll stalk you.
yeah, we'll stalk you till we know your whole family history.
Right.
It's like you said, obviously something happened in that relationship. You felt bad because you were judging, but then realized like, oh, I've been in that same position
Right.
as that woman.
I felt bad because my first reaction was to judge. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I passing judgment when I've been there before? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And that's very big of you to like realize like, oh wow, I've been there in that spot. And you sympathize with this woman and you realize like, wow, she's showing habits that I've shown in the past. Almost like
I've definitely, yeah.
yeah, you're having a moment of reflection. For those listening, if we have listeners that are the ones feeling like they are quote unquote the scorned woman or the toxic woman or the one that's in the, the one that's going through this right now, how do they kind of overcome that?
Short story. I was cheated on and I was going through all these things. I caught myself doing things like wasting time going through that person's phone or wasting time stalking them on social media and stalking the other person on social media. I wasted time looking through call logs. Like I wasted time doing so much stupid stuff that when one day actually, well, as I'm doing it, like I had a call log in my hand, and like I had the call log in my hand, and I'm sitting there and I'm like highlighting like phone numbers I did not know. And I was wasting my time saving them in my phone and looking to see if they had like profiles or whatever. It was just like some real stalker shit. Cause like you said at the beginning, we can be really stalking. Like we can stalk. So and then like it was just like a moment of realization. I was sitting there and I'm like, wait. And I'm looking at the time because I had to do something. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, what am I doing? This was like the literally moment of realization where I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, first of all, I have things to do. And I'm wasting time on doing this stupid. What am I doing? From that moment forward, it was just moment of realization after moment of realization. I'm spending my time and my energy, and the amount of time and energy this took was like ridiculous. I'm like, why am I doing that? I'm taking away from me.
Emotional health is being affected
Right.
too. Because you're in that space of negativity and getting stressed and your blood pressure is getting high and you're putting yourself at risk of something else happening to you just because you're stuck in those emotions.
I took the call log. I literally ripped it up, threw it in the garbage. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you have with that person. If that person doesn't want to be with you, that person is just not going to be with you. Doesn't matter what you do. So I was like, why am I doing this? I am hurting myself. I'm not hurting anybody else. I'm not hurting that person. I'm hurting me. The amount of toxicity that I caused myself and negativity I brought upon myself was just disgusting.
When people are in that headspace too, you're not fun to be around with at all. Because
No,
think about when you're with
no.
friends or something,
That's all you talk about.
that's all you talk about because you don't want to get out of it. You want to stay rooted in that. And honestly, people don't, they don't want to be
Want to hear
around
that?
you. They
No,
don't want to hear
no.
that.
Because although that's your friend and they know you're going through something, they don't want to hear about it 24/7.
If that was my friend, I'll be there for you for like a day or two. But once it's been weeks and months and you're still in that headspace, you're still going through that, you're still
It's just,
talking about the same thing. I just have to check out. I can't do it
yeah.
anymore. It's okay to go through bad times, but you have to remember that you can't stay stuck in those bad times.
It's easy for me to say that now because I realized it, right? But
Mhm.
when I was in that headspace, it was not that easy. I was in there for months and months at a time, like, and that's all I talked about. I mean, I had support, but it was tiring. I'm sure they were tired. They
Yeah.
never told me, but I'm sure they were tired.
I think us women can get really, and maybe even guys, we can get so stuck in our emotions that it can end up controlling us, and we'll do things that are out of character that are going to probably harm us just because we're trying. We're either going to try to get payback, get revenge, or we're going to wallow in our depression.
Right. Or you're trying to, or even work on trying to get them back or do the best thing that you can to get them back.
The best thing to do is to just reflect on yourself and work on yourself. It's okay to go through that pain and stuff, but at some point you're going to realize like you're going to have to eat, because I know some women sometimes don't even eat. They don't take care of themselves. Take care of yourself, because if not, you're going to deteriorate, and what's that going to do for you? It's not going to do anything good.
Nothing.
So it's really important to take certain steps so that you can get past it, you can get over it.
Look, listen, we're all going to go through it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you go through it and you have to go through it. The only way that people mature and grow is going through these things. Like have your moment, but get up out that moment. Like don't sit in there too long. Cause
Yeah.
that's where you get messed up. Me and my cousin actually spoke about this one day and she's like, the amount of feeling that I was going through because she actually came face to face with the person later on. And she's like, I was feeling like anxious, like I wanted to throw things. And I was just like, don't. Like, did you? She's like, no. And I was like, did you feel good about not doing anything about it? She's like, yeah. And sometimes people be like, well, what do you mean how you don't feel good about? Not every action deserves a reaction. We don't realize that sometimes the reaction that we're going to give that person is a lot more costly than that action that initiated it. And I hope that made sense. At the end of the day, it cost that person nothing to irk you. Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, they're doing it because that just brings them joy and they're miserable and they're looking for you to be miserable with them. And that reaction to that action will cost you a whole lot. And if you're a person that's hot headed and you lose it and you just go bananas, that can cost you your freedom, that can cost you your job, that can cost you so much. That's what I'm saying. Not every action deserves a reaction because the reaction could be more costly than the initial action. And how does that tie back into what we're talking about? Because us women sometimes we are creatures of emotion. That's just who we are. And we act off of emotion. And the moment, like I can imagine, and I know women that in the moment of catching like their partner in the act or whatever, they go out and they bust out and they do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Open your eyes, pretty girl. Realize that it's just taking too much from you.
And those are the times where you have to be selfish, but not selfish in a malicious way that's harmful to others. Be selfish in a way that you're going to just put yourself as your priority and try to work on yourself to get out of that space and not put yourself back in that. Happens, but you learn from it and you move on,
Yes.
and it should make you a better person, not make you someone that's going to be miserable and scorned for the rest of your life. There's a lot of women that have been scorned that stay in that headspace as they get
And they
older.
take it to other relationships.
And they're just exactly, they take it to other relationships. those don't work out. And they're miserable people that no one wants to be around.
Right.
Like you've seen that person at your workplace, in your family. You see that a lot. And those are people that just couldn't let it go. They couldn't put themselves first to evolve and change and take that as a lesson. They just lived in it for
Yeah.
years. And now they're like scorned, miserable people that
Right.
nobody wants to be around.
We need to open our eyes. We need to do better for ourselves. I've seen a lot of female positivity, like women supporting women, like women giving advice to women and like uplifting women. And I think that is so dope. We need that. We really do need that.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, I also feel like men need to get on that bandwagon as well. Because men do go through the same thing we do. It's just
Men don't talk about things like we
right.
women
They're
do.
not as vocal as we are. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're not as vocal. And I feel like that's also important. I
Yeah.
feel like men need to be vocal because they do hurt. They're also human. They go through a lot. And I look, listen, I have 3 brothers. Like I've seen them go through it.
I think it's just part of the generational thing. Like our parents never talked about drama or things that happened in their life. Like we're
Right.
Latin. That generation always swallows everything.
Everything.
You
Right.
know, they don't talk about something negative or their emotions because it makes them feel weak.
Right.
So that was very frowned upon back in the day. It's even harder and more frowned upon on men because
And
men
it's still
don't
frowned
want to be
upon on
seen
men
as
now.
weak.
For example, big guy, Will Smith.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people going at him, but then I also see a lot of people defending him because it's, you know, and I'm not gonna say what side I'm on or what I think. However, I feel like when that man was going through it, you had memes and you had all this stuff on the internet making fun of him being vulnerable. And which is like, well, this man is hurt.
Yeah.
Like this is his real life. Like for us, this is drama and TV, but for him, this is his real life. This is what he's going through.
I don't promote any violence. I don't agree with what he did, but there has to be a moment where people see themselves in that mental space that he was in. And
Right.
I think the
So what
reason,
brought him there?
yeah, I think the reason that it even went so crazy and so viral, besides him being a celebrity, obviously, and it being on the Oscars, is that there's a lot of people that can resonate with how he was feeling and they can put themselves in his shoes. So I think
Right.
a lot of men or people feel like, you know, I have been in that mental space before, or I've been
Yes.
there. Like I get it. It's relatable at the end of the day. So that's why I think it caused so much reaction. Same thing like your neighbor yelling at her husband or boyfriend or whatever from across her window. Like it caused a reaction to you because you've been there and it's relatable.
I don't promote violence. I will never promote violence, but I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and be like, oh, I've never been violent before. I've never had a violent reaction to something.
Yeah.
Lies. So
Mhm.
my first instant reaction to him was, damn, bro, like you could have handled it a different way.
But this is part of our advice to women, as in you can handle things differently and just think
Right.
about how you
Right.
react to things before you do, because that little moment, that 1 second could save you from totally ruining your life to making it different, you
Like
know?
I said, not every action deserves a reaction.
Yeah.
Boom. Prime example on what I mean by that.
Well, if you guys have a story that's similar and you want to share, or you have a friend that's going through it, or if you just want to give us your opinion, tell us how you feel about this, let us know. You guys can send us an email. You can send the email to askus@stooptea.com. That is ask@stooptea.com. And you can also send us a message on our TikTok and our Instagram.
Yes. Those are wrapped it up for you guys.
Also, happy Easter, because next time we see you guys, it'll be after Easter. Well, have fun on your egg hunts, everybody, and have a good night. Bye.
Bye.